كل مكان اهلا ومرحبا بكم. احنا معكم النهارده داخل سفاره دوله ارمينيا لدى جمهوريه مصر العربيه، لكن لقاءنا النهارده لقاء خاص جدا، هو لقاء مع حرم سياده السفير السيده ذارا بالايان بولاديان. لو عايزين تعرفوا اكتر عن حيثيات هذا اللقاء يبقى تتابعونا وتتابعوا معنا هذه الحلقه. مشاهدينا في كل مكان، بيسعدنا ان يكون في ضيافتنا اليوم السيده حرم السفير سفير دوله ارمينيا لدى جمهوريه مصر العربيه، السيده ذارا بالايان بولاديان. First of all, please allow me to thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much for coming, and I'm very happy to welcome you here in the Embassy of Armenia. And I think you feel in the air that you are in the Armenian land.
Yes, sure. Can you please introduce yourself to all the Egyptians?
I'm Zara Balayan Poladian. I'm wife of Ambassador of Armenia. And I'm very happy, I'm very glad, it's honor to represent my country here and to stay with my husband here to help him with everything. Some words about myself. I'm teacher psychologist and I used to work in Armenia like a teacher psychologist around 10 years. And later, 5 years before, I had to leave my work and went with my husband to Baghdad, Iraq. He was announced like an ambassador there. That was the first time when we went for our posting together, my husband and me only, without our children. So later, after 3 years of serving there, we were transferring here in Egypt, in Dunya, as they let me say, if I'm right.
Yes, that's right.
So to this magic land.
Can I ask you, is this your first time here in Egypt, or you have been here before this post?
Let me tell you interesting story about my family, about our story, about our postings. No, it's not the first posting here in Egypt. First time we had our posting from 2008 to 2011. And
so you witnessed the Egyptian revolution?
Definitely, definitely. My husband was a counselor there that time, and let me say some words about my impressions at that time. It was different time for our family because we were all together. I mean, our sons were with us at that time, and they were studying at school here in Egypt, and we really like this country. We like this country from that time. So it was a time of, as everybody knows, the time of Egyptian revolution. And we could see everything what happened in the streets, and it wasn't a very easy time for us, like like foreigners first of all. But let me say some words about my impressions about Egyptian people that time, because really this is the thing that I'd like to share with you today, Sarah. We were living in a building with other Egyptian citizens, with Egyptian people. And the first day of when the revolution happened, they came to our place and said such a phrase: "You are our guests, so ala rasi ulayni."
Ala rasna
wa'ina. And you will be saved. Don't worry about anything. And really, we were very safe that time. And that is the time when I found for myself real Egyptian personality. That is the real Egyptian people.
That's very nice to hear about it.
And maybe that's why we have very nice Egyptian friends from beginning from that times.
The Armenian community here in Egypt, it's a historical, phrase to say. Armenians and Egyptian, they have been all through the whole ages together here. That leads me to another historical place I want to talk about. It's the embassy here. The embassy here, the building, it's when I first entered here, for me it was, it looks very historical, something an old and ancient and really it have special design and special architect. Can you please tell us more about this place?
Pleasure. I avail myself of opportunity to say a couple of words about this fabulous building, which will celebrate its 100 years of 100 years anniversary just in 5 years. Our villa,
historical, really.
It's very historical, and it's a big, responsibility to live in this house, in this villa. So it was built in 1927 by Armenian architecture Andronikyan for Armenian family. Armenian family, Chakrians suppose, they didn't have heirs, and they decided to present villa to Armenian community of Cairo. Later, in 1996, use of the villa was granted to Embassy of Armenia in Egypt. And also, I would love to say you that they had a wonderful book collection. I mean, Chakrian family had wonderful book collection, and some
have a library here.
Yeah, we have. Oh. But I would love to tell you how we create the library, if you are interested about it.
Yeah, sure. And I think the Egyptian will have photos, and we will shoot it.
Let me say, a few years before, we decided to create a library from that book collection, and my honor to say that I was also participate of creating the library. It was amazing part of my life. It was a wonderful job that we could do. And now we have this library here in our embassy. Let me say also, Sarah, that Armenians appreciate, in general, Armenians appreciate books. And also we love and we are very proud about our alphabet, very unique and very old one, which was created in 4005 by Mesrop Mashtots. During our history, thanks to people, many books were survived by people, just by people during our history. And thanks to all who could do it, because now in the capital of Armenia, in Yerevan, there is a biggest institute of manuscripts, Institute Museum, Mate Nadaran. Hope you will visit Armenia and visit Mate Nadaran also. This is the biggest collection of manuscripts in our region. And let me say also that the collection in Mate Nadaran included also approximately 3,000 books in Arabic, including even Holy Book Quran. We are very proud about that.
I hear that there is a rare books, you have it already here in your library. Some books are really rare, and they are
imagine, Sarah, there are books printed in the beginning of the century.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm telling you that it was pleasure and honor to work with that books, to heal them. Really, they need healing that time, and we really created the library.
Please, continuing talking about you, it makes me, or it lead me to talk about the handcrafts of Armenia. Can you tell us more about it? Because already we have one of those handcrafts well known is the carpets and things like this, and we have it here on the table in front of us. So can we know about this industry?
Not only that, let me just add. This one also, this is wood, from wood. That one also from stone. This is famous Armenian stone.
Oh yes, this is Armenian. Oh, it's a heavy one.
Yeah, it's a bit heavy one. So, you know, usually Armenians are very famous in handcrafts everywhere, I think.
They're all handmade.
I think, yes, they are all handmade. Also, you asked me about the carpet. This we call it carpet. And also in Armenian, carpet is carpet.
Carpet is
carpet.
The same word.
We call it carpet. The stone is obsidian. I forgot to remind. Obsidian. The stone is obsidian. When you will visit Armenia, you will see a lot of jewelries and such kind of stuff from obsidian.
Of this stone? You have different colors of this stone?
There is a bit lighter and darker. A bit darker and lighter. So Armenians usually are very famous about handcrafts. I think, I believe in all over the world. I remember my first impression when we had our posting in Syria. I was somewhere just to buy something. When I asked, is it a nice quality? Imagine he replied me, "Shaghl Arman." So it means that job of Armenian, so handcraft of Armenian, it's very good. Shaghl Arman, it means nice quality. So Armenians can create handcraft from everything, handcrafts from everything, from wood, from stone. We have wonderful carpets, ceramics. So I can tell about it very long stories.
About the Armenian community, how do you see them, their presence here, and especially the women? What's the role of women in the Armenian community here in Egypt?
Let me say that a role of the woman in our days is changing in all over the world. As in Armenia, as in Armenian communities and Armenian diaspora everywhere. You know that Armenian diaspora is very big, it's around 10 million people. As for Egypt, I have many contacts here for sure, and we have many events that we are creating together here. I would love to mention especially and make a focus on the Armenian lady, role of Armenian lady in diaspora, also in Egypt too. Also in Egypt. You know, being a main mission of Armenian lady in general is motherhood. Living in a foreign country, it means keeping traditions, our Armenians. And I can see here that ladies here in our community doing their best to keep our traditions and keep youth to Armenian clubs and to our church.
Do you also keep that plus the traditions, the family atmosphere and the family rules? You are trying to keep it here with you and your families here and the community here?
Usually, keeping of traditions is something daily. I mean, if you are keeping your traditions, you are doing it during all your life. And I'm very proud to say that, yes, we are keeping our traditions, and we are very close to our church, and also we are connecting to our community here and do very interesting events with our community, with youth clubs, with our school and kindergarten here.
More about the tasks that you have to take a role in it here for being a wife of ambassador.
To me, first of all, being wife of ambassador, it's a big responsibility to help him with all his decisions, it's not very easy sometimes but to help him with everything, and also to represent our country. During my daily routine, I have very interesting and very important events. But I'd like to tell you about events with Armenian community. As I told you earlier, Sarah, I'm teacher psychologist, and from the first day when I came here, I was very interested about our Armenian school and kindergarten here. I visited school and our amazing school and kindergarten here, and I met children and teachers, very patriotic, very wonderful teachers, who are doing their job very enthusiastic. And we decided together to have yearly events. First event, it was here in the embassy. It was an event about Armenian alphabet, and children were very happy to attend that. Mm-hmm. Next time it was an event with kindergarten, and it was on 19th of February. I remember it because that is the day of book in Armenia. We celebrate Day of the Book in Armenia, and that is the birthday of one of the famous Armenian poets, Hovannes Tumanyan. So that was our second event. I visited kindergarten, and we had our book changes there at the kindergarten, and children also had really fun there that day. I'm very proud about that.
So mainly the main thing is to keep the traditions, the Armenian traditions, alive in the Armenian community here in Egypt, right?
For sure, we have to keep our traditions, and I'm very proud to say that we managed to do it. We can do it, and let me mention that especially here in the Egyptian community, in the Egyptian diaspora, role of ladies here, because they are doing their best to keep our traditions and to keep youth very close to church and to Armenian clubs.
One more thing I would like to ask you about is the statue of a woman that you have already in Armenian country. Can you tell us more about it, and what does this statue represent?
My pleasure to tell you about a statue in Armenia, a statue of women in Armenia. There are many statues of women in Armenia, but let me tell you about, maybe better to tell you about a statue or monument about we call it Mother Armenia. Mother Armenia is one of the highest statues in Armenia, in capital of Armenia, in Yerevan. Height of the statue is 22 meters, and pedestal is 51 meter. So, and statue is created from basalt, and pedestal from hammered copper. Location of the statue is so nice that it seems that Mother Armenia is ready to guard capital of Armenia daily. Not daily, I think every second even. And also I'd like to tell you that to me it symbolizes peace through the strange. With a sword in her hands, and it reminds people about Armenian women who never take up their hands and didn't afraid to stay near their husbands during the awful days, during the horrible days of our history. But I'd like to say also about this monument, maybe I repeat my words, that the main mission for Armenian women during the centuries was, and it is, motherhood.
Exactly. Of course, there's still lots of things to talk about. One of this is Armenian cuisine. So please allow us to have another interview and talk about these things. And maybe you can show us more about the Armenian traditions and the customs itself. Thank you so much and hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for coming. It was very nice to meet you today, and my pleasure to show you something from Armenian cuisine.
مشاهدينا في كل مكان، كنا معكم النهارده في ضيافه سيده حرم السفير الارماني في مصر، جمهوريه مصر العربيه، السيده زارا بالايان بولاديان. بالتاكيد احنا تحدثنا معها عن دور المراه في طبعا في المجتمعات، وخاصه لما يبقى فيه نوع من انواع الغربه في المجتمعات الغربيه، ازاي بيبقى دور المراه دور كبير جدا في ان هي تحافظ على العادات والتقاليد، وايضا تحافظ على الابناء ان هم يبقى لي بينهم علاقه ما بينهم وما بين ارضهم، بالاضافه طبعا للحديث عن موضوعات اخرى شيقه كنا في حلقه النهارده، لكن للحديث بقيه عن ما يتعلق بالمطبخ الارماني وغيرها من الموضوعات في الحلقه القادمه. اتمنى ان انتم تتابعونا فيها، والى اللقاء.